What's going on, guys? We got another video today. This one is on photosynthesis. Yes, I love photosynthesis. You should love photosynthesis. I love photosynthesis. All living things should love photosynthesis because without it, we wouldn't be here. All right? Let's get after it. All right, so first of all, what the heck is this thing? What is photosynthesis? It is this phenomenal process that creates energy from sunlight, right? What? That's crazy. We can't do that. We don't do that. We either have to eat something that's done photosynthesis to get energy, or eat something that's eaten something to get energy from photosynthesis, right? Pretty phenomenal. So without this, there'd be no living things because you got to convert solar energy into chemical energy to feed all living things, all aerobic life forms. And it produces oxygen, which we also need, which is also pretty cool. All right, so photosynthesis is a process to create energy from sunlight, or from light, okay? Process to gain energy from sunlight. Process to gain energy, gain energy from sunlight. What? Process to gain energy from sunlight. That is phenomenal, guys. I wish I could do it. I wish I could just hang out in the sun and be like, let's get all this energy. Well, we do get some vitamin D, but we don't get the energy we need. So I say it's a process, guys. Be more specific. It's not, it is a process, but it is a chemical reaction. All right, we're going to go over the chemical reaction of photosynthesis, and then next I can show you where it usually happens. Usually photosynthesis is going to happen in green plants, most likely in the leaves. Some rare organisms do it, but we're jumping ahead. First, let's talk about the equation for photosynthesis. So how does this happen? Right, the way photosynthesis works is it takes something called carbon dioxide, which is a gas, probably heard of carbon dioxide, plus water, and when that's exposed to sunlight, so I can put here a little sun, whoop, 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 whoop. When you get sun energy, or light energy, right, it then makes C6H12O6. Whoa, what the heck is that? That's sugar. That's a sugar called glucose. And it also produces oxygen as a byproduct and releases oxygen, which we need to breathe, right? Another awesome thing. But we need both of these things. We need energy, right? We can't get energy from the sun, so it needs to be converted into chemical energy known as glucose that we can use or any other living thing can use, and then also oxygen to breathe. We need that oxygen, right? So guys, remember, CO2 is a gas. It's carbon dioxide. This is a molecule, right? So this is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, right? It's carbon dioxide because it's made of one carbon atom and two oxygen atoms. Together it makes one molecule of carbon dioxide. And you guys, I'm sure have seen this before, H2O, that's water, right? Water. So this is water, carbon dioxide plus water, right? We've got two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom together make one molecule of water. And when they're come together and exposed to light energy or sunlight, it produces this amazing molecule, sugar, right? There's lots of different sugars out there. There's sucrose, fructose, glucose, all those things. This is a sugar known as, so this sugar, known as glucose, right? And that's super important because it's converting light energy into chemical energy. This is energy, guys. We need to eat this stuff to be able to survive, right? And then also another phenomenal thing that it makes, right, is it produces O2. So these are two oxygen atoms. So this is oxygen, right? So pretty phenomenal is that when life first started on Earth, photosynthetic organisms in the ocean, like plankton and photosynthetic bacteria, started producing oxygen, was filled and created our atmosphere. And then the plants started to colonize land, did photosynthesis, and then animals were able to evolve and crawl out of the ocean, breathe that oxygen, but also eat the plants to get energy. Whoa, so like I said, we wouldn't be here if there's no photosynthesis. That's pretty crazy, guys. And I mentioned this is a chemical reaction. So something you have to know is that a chemical reaction, there are reactants and there are products. Reactants are like the ingredients, products are what get made, right? So the reactants in this equation, okay, are everything on the left side of the equation. So these are the reactants. Reactants of a chemical equation. So these are the reactants. And then they make, so these are the ingredients, and the ingredients come together to make the products. So these, glucose and oxygen, are known as products in this chemical reaction, right? So we got reactants are like the ingredients, carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight make or produce the products, which are glucose, which is a sugar, C6H12O6, and some oxygen. Pretty crazy, right? So it's a process to gain energy from sunlight. But more specifically, who does this? Who does photosynthesis? We can't do it, like I said. Usually we're talking about plants, usually talking about green plants, so that's what I can show you next. Rarely, there are some pretty phenomenal organisms that do this too. There's like a ocean sea slug that actually eats photosynthetic like bacteria and phytoplankton, incorporates the chloroplast, which we're going to talk about, that's the site of photosynthesis, into their tissues, and they can do photosynthesis. So they can just hang out in the sun and be like, you know what, I'm not going to eat, I'm getting all the energy I need. I don't need to eat anymore. I just hang out in the sun and I'm good. That's crazy. All right, so let's talk about where we usually see this happen. Cool drawings, right? So, like I said, this usually happens in, for the most part, in plants. We're talking about plants when we talk photosynthesis, right? And more specifically, we're talking about the leaves, right? So this is a leaf, or a leaf, right? That's my leaf. And leaves are like the solar panels of plants. Like they're putting those leaves out there and they're tilting them and angling them to try to capture the most sunlight because that's where photosynthesis happens, right? So photosynthesis happens in the leaves, and we're going to zoom into this leaf. So here we go. We're going to zoom into one cell. Boop, boop, boop. Zoom in. And we're going to look at one plant cell. So this should look familiar if you've seen our last video when we talked about prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Remember, if we're talking about a plant cell, we're talking about what? Yes, that's right, a eukaryotic cell, right? Because they have membrane-bound organelles and DNA inside of a nucleus, right? So remember, we have a bunch of organelles in here. Remember, those are tiny organs that do a specific job for the cell, right? We have, our organs are like the heart, liver, lungs, all that stuff, but cells have like the mitochondria, the endoplasmic reticulum, the nucleus, all that stuff, right? But photosynthesis happens in one special organelle right here. This is our special organelle we're going to zoom into. We're going to zoom in. Okay, we're zooming in again. And this, guys, this is a chloroplast, right? So this is a chloroplast. Right? And what the chloroplast is, remember, that's the organelle that does photosynthesis, captures that light energy to convert it into chemical energy. Right? So a chloroplast is an organelle plants have to do photosynthesis, right? We don't have chloroplasts, right? We don't have these. Remember, we only have mitochondria. Animal cells don't have these, so they can't do photosynthesis. Chloroplasts are really where it happens inside the cell of a plant cell, right? And then more specifically, these little disc-like structures, those are things called thylakoids. They kind of look like these pancakes that are stacked on top of each other. We've got one pancake, another pancake, right? So these guys right here, so remember, this is our chloroplast. And then these little disc-like structures are known as thylakoids. Thylakoids. That's kind of a cool word. I like that. Thylakoids. And thylakoids are disc-like structures, right, inside the chloroplast, disc-like structures that absorb sunlight or light energy, right? So we know that it happens in the leaf, right? More specifically in a plant cell, right? Leaves are like the solar panels. In those plant cells, they have a chloroplast. So this is a chloroplast, the kind of bean-like structure, bean-like organelle, that has these thylakoids that absorb the sunlight. And then inside of these thylakoids, guys, is a pigment, right? A green pigment, actually, called chlorophyll. So not chloroplast, but chlorophyll, right? It's a pigment that fills up these thylakoids. Right? Chlorophyll. So inside, we have a pigment called chlorophyll. Right? Another cool word, chlorophyll. Right? This is a pigment that absorbs light energy. Right? right, pretty cool. That's why plants are usually green, because they have so much chlorophyll in their cells. Yeah, the chlorophyll is this green pigment that absorbs that light energy for photosynthesis to occur in these thylakoids, these pancake-like discs that are stacked on top of each other, inside the chloroplast, the organelle of a plant cell inside that leaf, right? Pretty cool, guys. Remember, without photosynthesis, there'd be no other living things, okay? Because we need to get energy from the sunlight, convert it into chemical energy that other things can use, and then also oxygen, guys. Oxygen, it lets all other aerobic organisms live. Aerobic just means they use oxygen to survive, right? We need to breathe that oxygen. We also need to eat to get that energy. Photosynthesis is pretty phenomenal, guys. Right, hope that was helpful. We talked about what it is, the chemical equations, the reactants, and the products. We talked about where it happens in a plant. Work hard, get smart, and I'll see you guys next time.